Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here today. We're going to talk about how to forgive your ex, especially somebody who is not going to ask for forgiveness, who's not going to want your forgiveness, who's still going to blame you. This is really crucial right now in our timeline. It is December 2020, and we're moving into the new earth, and I'm not going to get esoteric on you. However, I am going to share with you how important forgiveness is. So if you don't know me, my name is Denise Kavalauskas, and if you need my channel, please like this video if it gives you any value. Subscribe to my channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, so first thing, I totally changed my makeup today. Usually I'm in pink lipstick, pink eyeshadow, and today I kind of switched it up with some bronzy brown to go with this sweater. It's cold out. It is. It was 29 this morning. I'm from Florida and do not like the cold. Okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you. Here's how this video idea even came up for me. I remember when I was in therapy, one of the many million times, and the therapist had asked me, do you resent him? I was sitting next to my then husband. Do you resent him? And my answer was no. I didn't feel like I resented him. So I just want to stop right there, and I want to share with you that sometimes we have these emotions, we have these feelings that we don't even realize that we have, because in that moment I didn't feel like I resented him, and maybe I didn't thoroughly know like what resentment actually meant, what that emotion actually was. So my answer was no, I don't resent him. Part of the reason why I think I answered that way was I was so deeply engulfed in this narcissistic relationship that I couldn't see that I did resent him, that I did have animosity towards him, that I was pissed off at him for many, many reasons. Like I said, I don't remember when this therapist asked me this, because there was a series of times that we went to therapy. It could have been before the 2008 traumatic event that I went through. It could have been, it most likely was, but there was a lot of therapy that happened after the 2008 traumatic event. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's in chapter 3 of my book, Empower the Woman Within, where my then husband had attempted suicide, and with our 14-year-old daughter in the next room, and it was a traumatic event that changed us forever. And so obviously after that traumatic event, there's follow-up with counseling, therapy. And so maybe it was then, I'm not sure the timeline, but the point is that I was so engulfed in this narcissistic relationship that I didn't even realize that I was resentment of him. So now let me get to the part where the healing part. The healing part is forgiveness. I'm going to say this with love. I don't want to come across as you have to do this. However, for your own good, for your own mental and emotional wellness, you have to do this. And as hard as this may seem, I promise you this is going to help you in so many ways. You have to forgive. You have to forgive him. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the experience that you went through. And if you can see it through different lenses and in a different way, and I'm going to share that with you right now to help you, it makes it easier. So let me go back to 2 years. If you watched my video yesterday, I shared with you, was it yesterday or the day before, that I shared with you that I didn't even realize I was in the abusive relationship until 2 years that I was out of the abusive relationship. So when you're in these relationships, there's so much fogginess. There's so much. It's almost like you're walking around like a zombie because you don't realize all of the things that are actually happening. So when I came out of it, 2 years out of it, and when it was time for me to start forgiving him, forgive that he attempted suicide with our daughter in the next room, that he caused that he brought that on, and everything that happened after that, I had to start to forgive him. Yes, it was tough. And yes, I was still blaming him. And yes, I was like, no, I don't want to forgive him. I blame him for everything. He needs to pay for this. So I get it. I share that with you because I get it. But when I unraveled that, when I started to see him and the incident in the traumatic events through different lenses, I started to see that I could forgive him. So, narcissistic people are extremely wounded people. You know that, right? You know that they're extremely wounded. And wounded people hurt wounded people. Hurt people hurt people. So when I could look at him as this little boy who himself went through a lot of traumatic events that led him to be this way, and that he was doing what he thought was his way of protecting himself, because that's why narcissistic are the way they are. They're just simply trying to protect themselves from being hurt. So how do you do that? You hurt other people so you don't get hurt. Does that make sense? So when I started to see him more as this little child who had been hurt himself from his family, and this was his way of protecting himself, then I could start to feel empathy for him and feel compassion for him, instead of this blame and this hatred and like, you need to pay and all of the pointing the finger stuff at him. That made it easier for me to start to forgive him. And then once I did forgive him for the acts that happened, the traumatic acts, forgive him for which once I said was destroying our family, because hello, my life is so much better now. Like, thank you for destroying our family. This is the point where I'm at now. Thank you for destroying our family. Thank you for all the things that you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's where I'm at now. It is such freedom and liberation, because now I'm married to the man of my dreams. I'm in a relationship now where I am treated so, to say so good is an understatement. Amazing. In fact, once again, I'm going with my husband down to Florida. We're going to Fort Myers. I'm so excited to do that. So my point to sharing that with you is that once you can get to that point of forgiving the person who hurt you and seeing that person through eyes of love instead of the blame and the hurtfulness that they did to you and all of that, then you get set free. This is for you. This is for you to set yourself free so that you're not in that internal prison of blame and, you know, the guilt that you feel, the shame that you feel, and all of those fearful emotions that you feel. So now let me get to the 2020. We're in December 2020, and how important forgiveness is, because as we shift into the new earth, into a higher consciousness, this is the key piece that you want to have. This is the key piece that you must have going into 2021. So I really don't say that lightly. I really don't. And I don't talk a lot about that because essentially it's not my thing, because I don't want to explain it to you and kind of here's the thing. I got to know something really, really well in order for me to explain it to you to where it conveys in the way that, you know, you can receive it in the way I'm trying to give it to you. So that's why I don't talk too much about the esoteric things and the new earth and all of that, because I'm just learning a lot of the stuff myself. And so if I was to explain it to you, it would come off kind of not balanced. However, when it comes to healing from narcissistic abuse, when it comes to forgiving and all of the key pieces into healing from narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships or any abusive relationship, that is my gig, that is my thing, that is my jam, and that's how I can talk about it with no notes in front of me. Like the only notes I have in front of me is the therapy part. So here's some of the things that you can do to start to forgive. All right. Piece number 1. Look at yourself and the other person. Okay. So you want to look at yourself and look at the other person as little children. This helps a lot. And you want to look at the situation that you went through as an experience that you were or are supposed to learn from. Okay, instead of looking at it as like, this happened to me and it happened to me again and I can't believe it, which is through the victim's eyes, right? You want to rise up beyond the victim mentality, and I'm not judging because we all have a victim inside of us, but you want to rise up past the victim part of you and say, from the adult part of you, and go, okay, so that happened to me. Why did that happen to me? What am I supposed to learn from that? Because there's a lesson in everything, right? And it showed up for you. So what am I supposed to learn from that? Now, like I said, when I looked at my ex-husband as a little boy who, like, because I remember some of the stories that he told me and they were really bad. And so I could visualize him as a little child and how he was abused when he was younger and how his dad did really messed up things to him and things that a child, just think of a child, should never have to go through. It made it easier for me to forgive him. And that it was that little scared boy inside of him that was doing all of these things and reacting the way he was. And so that helped. And then how you can release this by doing a forgiveness exercise. So you could do something like, you could write a letter. I always recommend pen to paper. And you could write a letter to that person and sharing how you are releasing this energy. I forgive you for doing X, Y, and Z. I realize now that you were just acting as the scared little child inside of you. And from my adult self, I am releasing this. I'm forgiving you. I'm letting this go because this is in the past and I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to release this because I no longer want to feel this hurt and pain inside of me. Okay, you could do something like that. You could write a letter to yourself. You could write the same type of letter. You know, I'm ready to let this go. I no longer want to be in this internal prison. So you can visualize you unlocking the key, unlocking the lock from the prison that you've been in for so long and opening the doors and walking out of that prison cell, that internal prison cell, and let the feeling of freedom wash over you. Oh, and sit with that for a second. That feeling of freedom wash over you and releasing yourself from this internal prison. You could also, from that, go take a shower and visualize the water that's over you being that washing that old energy that no longer serves you, washing away all of that old energy that no longer serves you, and feeling this fresh and new and clean person that you are by letting that go, taking that heavy weight off of yourself. You could do that. And let me know in the comments below if that resonates with you, if you've done that, and what results showed up for you. And if you're struggling with forgiveness, let me know that. Because this is so important for you. This is for you to take yourself out of that prison so that you can be free. You could also visualize a bird. That just came up for me. A bird coming out of the egg and cracking the egg and like discovering its wings and flying, right? You could visualize that. There's so many ways that you could do this exercise to on my phone. There's so many ways that you could do this exercise for you to release yourself from this and forgive. Forgiveness is so important, my love. And that's why I'm doing this video for you, because I've been where you are and I know how important this is. It literally brings such freedom to you. And then, hey, if you want, or you're looking to get into a new relationship and you keep finding that you keep attracting the same type of person as your ex, the one who lied, the one who cheated, the one who was, threatening suicide or attempting suicide or all of those negative things, this is going to help you. This is going to help you release that old so that you can find the new. Somebody who deserves you, somebody that you want to be with, that loves you, and that he deserves you, you deserve him, right? Somebody, or vice versa, if the guys are watching, right? Somebody that loves and adores you. A healthy love. A healthy love. What does that look like? All right, my loves. Again, if any of this video gave you value, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel so that you get more of these videos on healing from narcissistic abuse. I love you so much. Have a great day.